Yes, good morning, fellow Americans. I'm here once again after a long while, uh, here to read things that are happening. Some good, some bad, and some simply a little bit horrifying to see where our country is headed to. I'm going to start off with the Muslim community. These people won't assimilate. No way. There's no way to dealing with people like this. It's like dealing with communists. You can't deal with the communists. You have to exile them. You have to get rid of them, or annihilate them. There's no way. And I'm going to prove it to you. Look right here. According to all the news I got here, it's going to show you how terrifying and how evil these people are. Trump peace plan offers Palestinians a state with increased territory and $50 billion. Trump, I'm one of your supporters 100%. I'm not allowed to vote because I live here in Puerto Rico, even though I was born in the United States. And I am a veteran. I requested I sent no, I think I canceled that request when I was asking for a water fountain for the DAV at Chapter 11 here in Puerto Rico, Disabled American Veterans. But we never received an answer. But that's okay, I understand. But to give $50 billion to our sworn enemies of Israel who want to annihilate Israel and want us annihilated also? What happened with the borders? That means there's a lot of money for the borders, for our protection. There's enough money to go around to cancel the national debt. There's not enough money for our senior citizens and disabled veterans. Housing for Americans who are living right now in the streets due to their economic situation. Even though I know the economy is booming and the unemployment rate is in the lowest in history. But we have to take care of our veterans. We have to take care of our senior citizens. Not the illegals, not the terrorists or these countries who hate us. I'm not saying they all hate, because I know there's opposition in Iran, from what I've seen. But in other countries, Islam doesn't permit any opposition. They'll just behead you, period. They'll make you disappear forever. And so from what I've been reading, they're murdering opposition people in Iran. So what are we? We're going to send the $50 billion to the Palestinians, who also hate us. There might be a few who don't, but request how you call it a passport to come to our country. Go to our embassies and say, look, I want to go into the United States as a political person, as a person who's fleeing persecution from the Islamic section or sector. But by being vetted first, of course. Let me see what else is. Donald Trump, I hope you don't make that mistake. The money should go for us, not for our enemies. It doesn't make sense. $50 billion when Jerusalem belongs to the Israel nation, not the Palestinians, who wants to eliminate it. It doesn't make sense. Please, don't, what can I say? That's why I believe the Democrat Party ought to just be dissolved and disappear. And another alternative for voting should be on the right, a little bit more to the right, like the Tea Party movement. We can no longer confide on the Democrat Party. They've gone full-fledged communism. They shouldn't be allowed to. They should be dissolved. Period. People should go a little bit more to the right, or to, let's say, the center, be the Republican Party. Those two choices, not the Communist Party. You even have one of the staff members of Bernie Sanders saying that if we can convert or control the landlords, there's no reason to kill anybody. If you believe a communist, you'll believe anything. Here's another point I want to make. Trump peace plan offers Palestinian a state with increased territory and 50 billions again. Stop it. Use the money for the United States. We need a wall that needs to be built. We need a debt that needs to be canceled. We need veterans that need to be attended, disabled veterans, and senior citizens, and housing for the poor. I'm not saying that to give them a free housing, but at least make some kind of a arrangement where they can pay monthly on a certain type of payment where housing could be available. But housings have gone to the roof to such a point that you got people living in the streets because they can't afford it. Even people from the middle class. The strain is just terrible. And you're going to give $50 billion to our sworn enemies? Oh, come on, Oh, God. Like, I even wrote it down. We give them nothing. I wrote it in one of the titles, former Israeli ambassador to the U.S. Every time Palestinians are offered peace, they say no. Let me see if I can put the whole thing here. It's right here. I'm not making this up. There you go. You can read it. It's hard for me to turn the arm pretty much where you can see it more straight because I got a metal in my left arm and my left shoulder. In other words, a shoulder replacement. So if I can't twist it enough, you're gonna have to excuse me. And I want you to hear this one too. Hamas linked care behind new challenge to Trump travel ban says it's aimed at Muslim community and Islam. Wrong. It's aimed at terrorists. I even put that the title. I put that on. You can see the top on the top, the title that I put. They're wrong. It's not aimed at Muslims. It's aimed at terrorists. And the majority of acts of terrorism is done by who? By Muslims. So what the hell you want us to do? Pinpoint, hey, when almost a majority? There may be some that are scared to death and just don't want to speak out because they know they're going to be murdered or beheaded. So they just keep quiet, just like in communism. You got people that are not communists, but they just keep quiet because they know if they open their mouth, they're going to be sent to a concentration camp like in North Korea with the whole family until the third generation. That's what they're doing in North Korea. Or they might disappear like they're doing in China, or Cuba, or Venezuela, or Nicaragua. Now Spain is turning to communism with Pedro Iglesias and Pablo Sanchez and these other jackasses. I really don't know where the head of the Spaniard people are. They voted for this. You know, they deserve it. Then. If they voted for this, they deserve that. As a matter of fact, if something happens, I'm not going to deal with them. You know, I'm dealing with Cuba, Venezuela. But if Spain falls, they're going to have to deal with it themselves. They're going to have to get some other person to denounce the crimes and the oppression in Spain because they deserve it. They wanted that, but that's what they're going to get. Then you got Rashid Tlaib tweeting a lie from the Palestinian atrocity factory. This lady is terrible. What's she doing in the United States? That's what I ask myself. What are these people doing in the United States? Even this other lady, I forget her name, Omar. Omar, let me put it that way. The majority of you people understand who I'm talking about. What is she doing here? What are they doing here? And then you got people that are so twisted and dumb. They vote for these people in our government positions. Reinstate the 1952 order where it prohibited these people from acquiring positions in our government. It's like putting a communist. It's like putting Bernie Sanders or AOC. As a matter of fact, all of the Democrat Party electing one of them as official is voting for communism. Look what's happening in Virginia. Look what's happening in California. Look what's happening in New York. De Blasio, he's a communist. Look at the communist state of California. It's turning into a latrine. And then you got this governor of Virginia who's attempting against I'm going to show a video later, is attempting against our Second Amendment, the right to bear arms. The guy is a full-fledged communist. And I'm going to prove it to you because there's being communist persecution against those who own their guns. As a matter of fact, people who don't even have a gun on themselves are being persecuted. I want to show you just a minute, just for being in an activity supporting gun owners or the Second Amendment. They're being persecuted. I want to show you in a few minutes. I'm going to finish off with this. Okay, now I'm going into to the United States. Let's see, I put up here another title. A historic Jersey rally, President Trump welcomes brave Republican, Jeff Van Drew on stage. This is Donald Trump receiving and presenting Jeff Van Drew. If I'm not mistaken, he's the person who led the Democrat Party to join our Republican Party. There's a video. And this reception. Everything I'm posting here, you can, well, I'm talking about here. You can see it because I posted on my blog, which is Eduardo Rodriguez. I pledge allegiance to the flag. Because everything that you're gonna hear about is being posted here. So if you want to visit, you can see everything that I read about or I talk about here is going to be posted. This, I don't know. I can't believe this, but I got to see it to believe it. But could be possible. Maybe another Democrat who has seen the light. Democrat Senator Feinstein said this should suggest she leans toward acquittal as president's lawyers wrap up of opening argument. What happened is they're being destroyed by Republican lawyers who has the finger on them, and everybody has a case. Every single Democrat has a case against them, including Feinstein. She's no angel. So they're planning to lean towards an acquittal. But what I'm thinking is that they're scared to death because they know each one of them has a possible criminal case against themselves, which the Democrats are accusing Trump of. They're accusing Trump of what they're guilty of, not what Trump is guilty of, because Trump has no guilt of anything. He's not guilty of anything. But the Democrats are. Hunter Biden. I'm going to show you a video of Hunter Biden in a few minutes, also, and you're gonna see it, and you'll have the choice to believe or not believe what I'm saying here. But I have proof. If I'm not mistaken, Bloomberg is a descendant. It's an American-born descendant of Jews. And look what he's saying. Bloomberg compares America to Nazi Germany on Holocaust Remembrance Day address. I wrote a title here. It seems he's suffering from acute case of Alzheimer's. Is that what the case is? That he's gone daffy? Or maybe he hasn't seen any videos on the Holocaust, or hasn't seen testimonies of Holocaust survivors, because there's a whole bunch of testimonies of Holocaust survivors who can testify what they went through. We don't have any concentration camps here. I don't know what the hell Bloomberg is talking about. Maybe what he can do, he can accuse the Democrats, which is now the Communist Party of America, of planning to develop or construct concentration camps to put in those who oppose the Communist Party, which is them. That's what he can do. Instead of criticizing what Donald Trump is doing to save America, he can accuse the Democrats of trying to destroy America. Maybe that's what he can do. And he can accuse the Democrats of planning another Holocaust, because you got Bernie Sanders, who's a communist, and everybody knows the bloody history of communism. You got AOC, another daffy Democrat. You got Tlaib, this Muslim woman. You got Ilhan Omar. Now I remember her first name. Ilhan Omar. Another one. They're all planning that system of Holocaust. They want to plan a Holocaust. Because you have to go to the bloody history of Islam to understand what I'm talking about. Nothing is good is coming out of if you can go to this website of Jihad Watch, you're going to see constantly, almost constantly, terrorism or situations of horror occurring in the Islamic world against Christians and those who don't abide by the rules, even against their own selves, like ISIS killing Muslims who are not Muslim enough, according to them. Look at this. Vexit. Vexit would be, as in Virginia, Republican West Virginia governor invites invites Virginia gun sanctuaries to secede and join his state. It's the same thing the Democrats did during the Civil War. They succeeded because they wanted to continue with slavery. And that's what these people want to do. They want to enslave the nation by prohibiting the American people of that state or the Virginians from being able to defend themselves or raise arms against the tyranny, which is occurring in Virginia, in the state of Virginia. They want to do the same thing. Their history has been darkened during the reign of Democrats in these states. Ever since the American Civil War up to this day. Now they declare themselves communists, and I want to prove it. Just a few minutes. I'm getting close to it. Trump doesn't invite House Democrats to USMCA signing ceremony. I wouldn't either. That's what I wrote as a title. I wouldn't invite a Democrat either, because all of them are against everything that's good for our nation, which includes respect, honor, and love for our country. I wouldn't invite any of them either. Hero, Jim Jordan destroys serial lie. Adam Schiff and hearing with DOJ IG Horowitz. There's a video here. Let me see how long the video lasts, because if the video lasts too long, like I say, go to my. As a matter of fact, the video didn't. Let me see. Is this the video? Let me see how long the video lasts. Yeah, let me put a little bit of it. Let me see if I got a problem here with the volume. Okay.
Contact for another federal agency? He was. Did the Department of Justice the Department of Justice and the FBI tell that to the FISA court when they went to get the FISA application on Mr. Page?
Put a little bit larger the video here screen. But
did an FBI lawyer doctor an email that was part of the FISA application to get this warrant on Carter Page?
Doctored an email that went to the affiant who swore out the FISA application.
Yeah.
The email itself wasn't part of the application.
Understand, but and the way it was doctored was not just doctored. They directly changed it, said it went from Carter Page was a source to Carter Page was not a source. Is that right?
Correct.
Directly the opposite meaning. And that became part of the basis to go to the court and get the warrant on Carter Page.
That was relied upon by the FBI agent who swore out.
And I've seen correspondence between Christopher Steele, the guy who wrote the dossier that was taken to the court, correspondence between him and the Department of Justice, where he indicated to them that, to the Department of Justice, that he was desperate to stop Trump from becoming president. Did that get communicated to the FISA court when they were getting the warrant to spy on Carter Page?
It did not. He relayed that to Rousseau, who related to the FBI.
Yep. I also know that the Clinton campaign paid the law firm Perkins Coie, who hired Fusion GPS, who hired Mr. Steele, who actually put together the dossiers we just said. Did the fact that the Clinton campaign was paying for this operation, this dossier, did that get communicated to the FISA court?
That information did not.
Did not get communicated to the FISA court. How many false or misleading communications were made to the FISA court relative to the Carter Page?
We identified 17 significant omissions or inaccuracies in the report. That's not all of them. That's the 17 we thought were the most material.
So more than 17 times they misled the court.
We identified a bunch of instances of inaccuracies. I think I'd leave it to others to decide, the court to decide what was misleading or not.
January 29, 2018, 2 years ago, Chairman of the House Intel Committee, Chairman Schiff, said that the FBI and DOJ officials did not abuse the FISA process. Is that an accurate statement, Mr. Horowitz?
Well, the department has submitted a letter to the court now that has been made public, where the department has determined that the last two FISAs at minimum did not have, and did not support probable cause.
Schiff also said on January 29, 2018, that the DOJ and FBI, quote, made only narrow use of information from Christopher Steele's sources about Carter Page's specific activities in 2016. Is that accurate?
I don't know the specific wording of what was said there, but as we reported, we found that the dossier, that the Steele reporting was central and essential to the application for the initial FISA and to the subsequent FISA.
I think you said on December 11th in front of the Senate that FBI's FISA applications relied entirely on Steele's and his primary subsource reporting to make allegations against Mr. Page.
Just to add, it was, to be precise, for the purpose of connecting Carter Page's alleged activities to Russia, to the Trump campaign. There was other information in there concerning Mr. Page not connected to the Trump campaign.
Did the FBI corroborate the allegations against Mr. Page?
The allegations on the FISA about his purported serving as an intermediary between Russia and the Trump campaign, they did not substantiate.
So again, 2 years ago on January 29, 2018, when Adam Schiff said the Department of Justice provided additional information obtained through multiple independent sources that corroborated Steele's reporting, that would be inaccurate as well.
As we noted in the report, they provided some information, mostly from public sourcing, that they found corroborated the reporting. What they did not find was corroboration for the allegations linking Mr. Page to Russia, to the Trump campaign.
Finally, let me ask this. Also 2 years ago, Mr. Schiff said on the Department of Justice met the rigor, transparency, and evidentiary basis needed to meet FISA's probable cause requirement. Is that an accurate statement?
Given the nature and the number of omissions and inaccuracies in there, we certainly didn't characterize what they had done as following rules or complying with the rigor that's required of a FISA application.
You not only didn't characterize it in the way Mr. Schiff portrayed it 2 years ago and stated in his memo, you said this: the IG report found 51 factual assertions in Carter Page's FISA applications that, quote, had no supporting documentation, supporting document doesn't state fact, or supporting document shows factual assertion is inaccurate. Is that right?
And that's my reference before to at least 17. There were many others we have in our appendix that are supposed to follow through the Woods procedures, which is the factual.
I understand.
There were not. Some are significant, some are not so as significant, but there shouldn't be any.
One last question. Are there any other reports coming? What are you working on right now in this area?
Yeah. So we are doing a follow-up audit because one of the questions we had coming away from this was, did this happen only in
area?
Yeah. So we are doing a follow-up audit because one of the questions we had coming away from this was, did this happen only in this case? Yep. Or does the failures we heard about in Woods procedures, we saw in the Woods procedures, infect other counterintelligence FISAs and something we hadn't looked at, counterterrorism-related FISAs? So
can you give us a little preview of what you may be finding and when that report may be?
Thank you, Mr. Horowitz. Gentleman's time is expired.
Okay, now we're going to go to the nitty-gritty. Project Communism. That is what I wrote on the title. Bernie Sanders staffer. After we abolish landlords. Are you going to abolish landlords? When you say abolish, make them disappear. We don't have to kill them. Well, certainly you don't have to kill them because you already killed them. It doesn't make sense. Because if you're going to abolish landlords, how do you abolish a landlord? How are you going to abolish them? Then you don't have to kill them? Or is it that you have to kill them according to abolish them? Because they're the ones who are going to produce. Or what are you talking about? People that rent apartments? Be careful what you wish for, because these people are communists and they're coming to destroy the United States. And I'm talking about the whole Democrat Party. Here it is. I'm not making this up. It's right here. I posted it here on my blog. So, you know, I'm not making this up. Just more to read it. I'm just going to keep on going because I'm not going to be here the whole day. Okay, wait a minute. What? I posted a video. Let me see if I can find it. This is a video of Hunter Biden. But according to what I'm looking at, it seems like I didn't. Was a little bit way further down because I think it was yesterday that I posted it. And if I posted it yesterday, it's not going to show up in what I posted today, and it's going to, you know, going to go way back. But Hunter Biden, when they asked him, there was this reporter, this lady that asked him, what if he would have had the job that was where he's paid by Ukraine? If it wasn't for his father, if he would have had that job, and he said most likely not. He even admits it himself. These people they're corrupt and guilty and corrupt to the core. They should be, you know, he's admitting he's guilty. He's guilty of accepting the bribe that his father did for him, so he can live a lavish lifestyle without even having the experience. They hire him because of the threat that his father, Joe Biden, did against the Ukraine government, so he can have to make all this millions of dollars. You know, all these people, all these Democrats, you can see very clear they're going with communism. I've posted before a video on the bloody history of communism. And these people are the same. They allege they are not. They're not going to do things, but they're admitting it. Because how are you going to abolish landlords? They were abolished in Russia, in the ex-Soviet Union. How? They were murdered. They were murdered in mass. They were sent to the gulag, where many of them froze to death, or starvation, or committed suicide because they couldn't take it. The same thing happened, and is still happening in North Korea. In the communist revolution of China, during Mao Zedong, millions of people died, and they're still dying. They're still being oppressed because communism still exists there. It's happening in Cuba. It's still happening in Cuba because it's still a communist state. In Venezuela, the same thing. In Nicaragua, we don't know because it's turned into a closed society, just like in North Korea, where there's no free press. Now, the people of Spain who voted for communists is going to go through the same thing. I hope the king of Spain doesn't permit it, because they still have a king. I just hope it doesn't happen. But according to what I'm looking at, they're going through the same steps. This will be all for today. This is all I wanted to talk about. Maybe if there's any more in the future, well, I'll come back again and speak about it because, you know, Election is close, but it's very close, and things are going to get very heated up. And I hope it's not toward the worst. I hope we stay with Donald Trump because it's the only alternative we got. God bless you, Donald Trump. I'm with you. But please don't send no money to these the terrorists. It doesn't make sense. God bless you. God bless your family. God bless America. And I wish you the best. Bye-bye.